Another CEO Wisdom Pod Aviation edition today with Dr. Praveen Srivastava. We're going to talk about aviation, the business of aviation, aircraft interiors, precisely aircraft maintenance as well. Uh, Dr. Srivastava is CEO at Aerochamp Aviation. He's in India right now, Mumbai more precisely. And fun thing, when I reached out to Praveen, he was not sure about the fit for this pod because he was like, "Oh, isn't that like not so exciting?" Well, to me, when I spoke to him, even before I spoke to him, was one of the most interesting space because he also does luxury jets, and that implies that he has very wealthy customers, and I'm always interested in how billionaires think and so forth. So I think it's going to be quite an interesting interview because Praveen actually sells to them. Apart from that, last time we spoke, I found out he was a super interesting guy, so I'm really excited for this. Praveen, can you introduce yourself and tell us a bit more about Aerochamp?
Yeah, thanks, Charles. Uh, my name is Dr. Praveen Srivastava, and I run a company called Aerochamp Aviation. We are into aircraft maintenance, but at the same time, we specialize into aircraft interiors. We are very well positioned in the whole of the Middle East and Asia Pacific region. I'm basically a material science graduate with an MBA from one of the premium institutions here in India and a PhD specializing into aircraft maintenance management. Having traveled to 32 countries by now, have a very wide exposure, lived in Singapore and Dubai. Uh, and thus, I started realizing my dream somewhere around 2007. I am not from the aviation industry, basically. I have been into telecommunication and various other industries. But in the year 2007, I realized I have a fascination towards aviation and slowly drifted, and I happened to enter the aviation field. And since then, I have sold the highest number of aircraft seats in this region. And that slowly again drifted me to getting into the aircraft cabins. Very fascinating. Initially, starting with the airlines, the general airlines, passenger seats, and cabins, but subsequently moving into business jets. And that was quite interesting. So that's been my story up till now. Running a company which specializes into aircraft interiors, initially started with refurbishment, and now slowly into modifications and also into manufacturing of a couple of aircraft interior products. So that's been our story by now.
Right, and your aviation journey started in 2007, precisely. Aerostar Aviation. So that one was a holding of diversified business operation in aircraft charter, aircraft sales, aircraft spare part, and aircraft financing. Yeah, they're all pretty much straight. Well, actually, they're not super straightforward. Tell me first about aircraft charting. We're talking about me wanting to rent a jet to bring me from point A to point B without having to go through the whole goddamn airport security, get there faster in a luxurious fashion. Is that what charting is about? And what was Aerostar's role into that whole charting operation?
Right. I was a part of Aerostar Aviation as the CEO. We used to run a charter business. We had a couple of sister concerns, and chartering is essentially about, hiring a jet for your private usage. And you take a jet, you go either alone or with your family and friends, and in a very private manner. So you skip all the queues because you are using an FBO, and you are having a very personalized menu to serve the food on your aircraft. So it's more of a very personal luxury, and it's a top of the end solution that we provided. So we were having mid range jets, which used to fly celebrities, which used to fly politicians, which used to fly head of the states. So it's a very common business model that people follow. But here we had a twist to it, and we were offering partial ownership, fractional ownership, what we call them as in the US. So that was something very innovative with it there.
Right. That's kind of cool, this model. Couple of questions here. At what point does chartering becomes a priority for you? Because I guess the first step is to go from economy to flying first class. You can get somewhat of a good experience in the first class, but you still have to do the lineup and so forth. Is it calculated in terms of net worth? Let's say that I can go first class up until 100 million, and after 100 million, then it's probably not worth my energy or my time anymore to fly first class. Is this the equation?
Uh, I would say true and false both, because it's all about your personal taste. It's all about your personality that you carry. Some people just close to $100 million of net worth probably can go private. Some may do it when they become, as large as $500 million or something like that. So essentially, it's all about your personal closed environment that you look at, your privacy. Many a times the celebrities prefer to go on a charter aeroplane rather than flying an airline, because in an airline there are onlookers. They get disturbed by your fans and people who look around you, and they come and try to invade into your privacy. So there are various factors which taken into account for chartering an aeroplane. So, and it also depends from place to place. Like in the US, in the Western countries, chartering is a very different business model. While in this region of Asia, chartering is done in a little different way. So it's to an extent, yes, it has to do with the net worth of a person.
Right, because you pay minimum 10,000 per chartered flight. Generally speaking, is that the price tag?
Yes, it could be somewhere around that, but much higher than that as well.
Right. Okay. Then the second question comes with aircraft sales. At what point is buying a jet a good decision? Because I go again with the economical side. I guess that most business people do, if we're not talking about the stars taking a decision for their privacy and so forth. So let's say that, okay, 10,000 bucks per flight a year. Let's say that I fly 100 times per year, right? That's $1 million that I spend on chartering per year. And a jet, I don't think they start at 1 million. I think they start at 2. Or can you give us the price tags, the average price tags of, let's say, a Gulfstream?
So yes, a Gulfstream. There are various types of Gulfstreams for sure, and it could be anywhere upwardly of $20 million and up. So it depends upon what is the model that you're buying. There is a Gulfstream 550, 650, and the latest versions as well.
So what's a basic jet? Like the ones that start at 2 million.
Jet, it could be an old Hawker or a Challenger or Learjet. In this part of the world, most of the business jet owners, they prefer to buy pre-owned aircraft initially, because that's cheaper to buy, and they want to try it out before they go for a bigger jet and a brand new one. So it is again a cycle wherein if you have a need to fly private, and you start calculating your costs on charter, and you want a machine at your disposal. So one fine day you may calculate and say, okay, fine, now it's more preferable to have my own private jet rather than going for a charter. So it depends upon a lot of other factors as well while taking a decision on this.
Right. And what's the average price?
Doing a lot of business jet interiors, by the way. So we have been very much focused. So we know this thinking process of the business jet owners.
Right. And what's the average price of a jet for first timers? Is it 5? Is it 10 million?
I would say five is a good price tag where the first timer jet owner can buy one at that price.
Yeah, I'm just not
That's a
sure
pretty one, yeah.
how they can recuperate that money in some sense and make it a sound economical decision. I mean, depending on what jet they normally charter, right? Because you said it started at 10, but sometimes it may be 50.
Yes.
$50,000 to charter one jet, and depends on the distance as well and so forth. So it can be more pricey. But is it fair to say that the price of most jet depreciates just like cars?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so well, it doesn't seem like a sound decision, but it could if you want to own the full thing, right? If that matters you, if you don't want to be stuck with. I mean, you can charter a jet to yourself and your family, but sometimes you're stuck with other people. You know, even in jets, I can picture Marquis Jet company in the U.S. that does that. Um, and then you need to find the employees and the pilot and all of that, so that's a whole lot of cost and energy, right?
Yes, yes, yes. So obviously, when you reach a position in your business, you're making enough money, you take a decision of buying a jet. You don't do it before that. And then, of course, sustainability is another factor. So you buy a jet, you should have enough deep pocket to sustain it for next 4 or 5 years, and then it makes a wise decision.
Right. Okay. Then I want to talk about the other aspect that caught my attention. Well, there's two more: aircraft spare part supply and aircraft financing, specifically. So aircraft spare parts, is it just like the car industry in which companies can make a whole lot more, should I say, on selling spare parts rather than selling the whole jet together?
Not really. Actually, the aircraft parts business works in a little different way. One of the reasons why we were into that business is we were having a complete range of service that we were providing to our customers. So we were chartering, we were selling aircrafts, and then those aircrafts need maintenance. But these spare parts are very controlled because they are regulated. You can't have any fake parts on your aircraft because that is to do with the safety and airworthiness of the aircraft. So most of the parts come from the OEM or the aircraft manufacturer who routes it through his channel, and the OEM could be somebody else. So the aircraft spare parts essentially is a very controlled business, and it is a very regulated business because every part needs to have a traceability. Every part needs to come from the reliable source and with all the documents and certifications. So, aircraft spare parts is a business which we established in Singapore. We established a company in Singapore, and we were selling to many of the MROs, which is maintenance, repair, and overhaul centers, and to the aircraft operators as well.
Right. Final question on that, on the Aerostar Aviation Group financing. So let's say that I want to buy my jet. I don't have the full money, or I don't want, and economically it's more sound that I borrow money to do so. I go see you, and you drop me half of the value of the jet, and you take anywhere from 2 to 5 to 10% interest over a period of 10 years. How does that work?
Yeah. So financing, just like or a car, even on the jets, is the same way. So first and foremost is the credibility of the person. Financing is something which we were only liaising, we were only supporting our customers. That was not our core business, and we were not the people who were actually financing, but we had arrangement with banks who could finance those purchases.
But I guess it's more like leisure. I guess like the more mature folks consider it as a leisure and lifestyle decision rather than a business one. Just that most CEOs are always obsessed with making good money. what percentage of your clients are business executives vs the Bollywood stars and like non-business people, let's say that way?
So I think I can divide it into 60% is to 40%. The 40% are the celebrities, the 60% are the real business people. Uh, but coming back to the financing part, actually, it is also done for some taxation purposes in
Okay.
this part. Yeah, so they get some tax benefit out of the interest that they pay. So it works out more economical for them. Yeah.
So you could refer them as well to a tax person and get a cut out of that.
Not really. We were not into that business. So yeah. So we were more into supporting our customers. Yeah.
Right, sure. Then Aerostar Ventures, you seem to have done mergers and acquisitions when you were there. You're co-founder of that company, were CEO. How was your M&A experience? Like, who did you acquire? Who did you merge with, and so forth?
So we were more focused on creating joint ventures and subsequently, making investments in those joint ventures and taking over the business or handling the business in a little different way. So we were we did pretty well in that. My tenure with Aerostar Ventures was not very long. So we established the business. I set the ball rolling, and by the time I moved on to set up my own company, and hence today I'm running Aerochamp Aviation, which specializes into aircraft interiors, and we are also into maintenance and some defense part manufacturing. So we are very innovative. We come up with very innovative solutions where we offer competitive pricing to the customers. And one of the ways to do that is our network into the aircraft interiors industry. We we are very well networked. We know most of the people across the globe in aircraft interiors industry, and hence we are able to source products at much cheaper price than what the operator or the interior refurbishment center could source at. So we have a very innovative business model that we are currently establishing. We are well established into the aircraft interiors parts manufacturing. We are very well established into the distribution of aircraft interior products. But at the same time, we're coming up with a very innovative marketplace where people can come. It's just like a mini Amazon, and you can source all your aircraft interiors and cabin related products from our portal. So that's something we are very excited about. And we have a very good experience in e-commerce business of last 6 years that we have been engaged into, and this is going to be an extension of that. So we are very excited about that. Yeah,
pretty cool. The interiors of a private jet, how much can it cost to have it refurbished from scratch? What's the minimum price? I wanna get a picture of like how much you can make in that industry. And yeah, you probably have different kind of suppliers, from China leather to Italian leather they can choose, and you have your markup on that. So how much does it cost to have a full jet interior redone, the seats, the walls, the details, your basic package, sort of?
yeah. So it starts, if it is a propeller aircraft like a King Air B200 or something, it may go up to say $30,000, and anywhere upwardly a Global Express could be anywhere close to $500,000. So it depends upon what material they select, because the carpet alone could be anything upwardly of say $10,000 onwards, and can go up to say $60,000. So it depends upon what is the material that our operator or the aircraft owner selects. And we have a wide range of all the aircraft interior material that we supply, and we offer as a solution and as an option to the owner.
Right. And Did you ever have like really special requests from special clients, like I want my walls to be made out of gold? Like, what are these eccentric requests you have gotten, or interesting case studies without naming names?
Yes. So I have had the opportunity of doing the aircraft interiors of very, very influential people in the Middle East. We replaced the carpet, we replaced the seat upholstery, we replaced the sidewall panels. We did almost everything and added to it the most important thing and the most expensive thing was gold plating. And he wanted everything in 18 carats gold. So that was like, wow. I mean, that's a huge investment. But that's up to the choice of the individual. There are people who look for hard flooring in the galley. There are people who look for very, very soft carpets, handmade, hand tufted carpets with silk in it. So we have worked with a variety of customers, and we got opportunity to work with some very, very influential, very, very, I would say, celebrity kind of people. And we are that's the reason we are very well placed in the aircraft interior industry in the whole of the Middle East and Asia, because we offer solutions to our customers, and they don't need to fly the aircraft all the way from here to the US or Europe just to get some interior done. So we offer them a solution right here in this region.
Let's say that they come inbound, right? They've got a referral from another of your clients, and they're like, okay, yeah, I think that Dr. Praveen can do the interview of my jet. I'm gonna call him. What happens from there? Who takes the call? How do they do? How do they make sure that their every needs are fulfilled? You send them a quote. How does it go from there?
So it begins with a request. So if somebody has to do the interior refurbishment of this aircraft, the first and foremost thing is we carry out a survey of the aircraft. When we survey the aircraft, we get to know what is the current status. Next is meeting the actual user and knowing his tastes. The third one is knowing his budget. How much budget does he has to refurbish his aircraft? And next is providing all the samples to him. So we go with all the samples. Of course, our customers are, they're very rich people. They can't come to our office. They're very busy as well. So we fix up the time. We carry all the samples in few suitcases to them, and then we give them a choice to select from. Now, this all happens only when we have understood their requirement, their taste. So when we go with the samples, they pick up a couple of them, and then we give them a storyboard, which will consist of all the material that we have selected for them together with them. And then we also offer them some kind of a photoshopped cabin wherein they can feel, after we replace anything out of their cabin and fix it with the new one, how is it going to look? So that's the whole decision-making process. And once that's done, we finalize all the bill of material, that is, all the items which are going to be used for the interior refurbishment. And then subsequently, we organize the maintenance of the aircraft, so grounding of the aircraft. So the timing is fixed when the aircraft is going to be grounded for maintenance and interior refurbishment together. And then we engage very closely with the MROs, and the interior refurbishment is carried out. So that's the whole process.
Right. And you've dealt with a bunch of very influential people. What insights have you learned from them?
Oh, a lot to learn. They are genius people, let me tell you. Nobody becomes rich just by being average, right? So you need to be above average. You really need to be above average and very smart to be rich. So all the people that I have met till now were the ones who are really smart people. They have a class. They know things. They know what they're talking. They know what they're picking up. So I have learned many things, and one of them is to be very, very disciplined. So you go and meet them, you look at them, and you say, "Hey, this guy is really on top of everything." So there is a lot that we pick up from meeting such rich people, such successful people.
Yeah. And any specific case or funny story with dealing with these folks that have kind of not temperaments, but they don't really have time, like you, or can you give us like any story of one of the favorite client of yours, if you can?
Yes. So without naming the client, I would like to quote a story. So what happened is we were doing a business jet in 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 some part of Asia, and this influential guy came in with his wife, and we were. I mean, of course, we were fully prepared, but one of the interesting things that happened to us was his wife's choice or the taste was completely different than his. And every time he used to select something, the wife used to say, "No, no, not this one, the other one." So we had a tough time, convincing them what could be good, and it was such a confusing state. We were not able to decide what colors to really offer them, and so that was one of the very interesting project we did. Finally, the outcome of the whole interior refurbishment came up very well, and both of them were very satisfied, and they were appreciative of what we did. So that's something very interesting we had a project.
I have a couple of rapid fire questions to finish up the pod in 5 minutes. What are the trends in the industry that you're seeing right now?
So the trend is more towards sustainability. So I see more and more people going for natural products. They want to be close to the nature, uh, while they obviously look for plush or the luxurious interior. They're getting a little more closer to the nature. So that's a trend. Second, yes, for sure, it's more about hygiene these days. So people want to focus on something where you can give them a coating of antiviral or antibacterial coating. So that's something picking up very well. And the third one, of course, is we in a way promote them to have organic substances on the aircraft. So when I say organic, anything made out of the plant extract, like the leather these days come with vegan coating on them. There are a lot of people who do not want to sit on a cow hide or a animal hide anymore. They're looking for something as an alternate. Can you offer us a synthetic leather which is as good as the genuine leather? So these are the trends which we see very often. Of course, in the entertainment system in the cabin, people are going for all Wi-Fi, all wireless. These days, the technology has evolved. You can control your lighting, you can control your entertainment system, you can control your aircon temperature right from your mobile app. So that's again a very latest trend in the aircraft interiors and the cabin.
How far are we from the fully electric plane slash jet?
These are still undergoing trials. There have been very successful flights, but I think we are still 10 years behind, seeing a fully electrical aircraft. That's just my guess. I'm not an expert on that, but still I feel it's going to take time for sure.
Right.
Because fully electrical means there are various safety norms that need to be met. It's still under trial for sure.
Talking about a decade from now. Last question: where do you see Aerochamp in a decade from now?
So Aerochamp has big plans. We have established ourselves as a one-point solution for aircraft interior material application and refurbishment solutions. When I say that, we are not only a material supplier, but we are also a solution provider. We train people, we impart technical knowledge to them, we handle projects, and the latest addition to our current business is we refabricate things. And on the top of everything, we are coming up with a very innovative e-commerce site where one can select all the material that he needs for his aircraft interior and buy them all online, and it will be shipped directly and drop shipped to their place. So Aerochamp should be 10 times bigger than what we are today in the next 10 years. We plan to list our company hopefully by 2027. That's a plan that we have. And for sure, if you list our company, I would invite you to buy some shares of our company in the future.
On what stock exchange? On Mumbai or?
Yes, we are an India-based company, but operational in 12 countries now. But we would go for a listing at Bombay Stock Exchange.
All right. Pretty cool. Well, yeah, I'll buy some share for sure if I have the platform to, which I will probably have by this time, 2027. Thank you so much for the interview today, Praveen. Where can people find out more about you and Aerochamp online?
So people can visit our website www.aerochamp.net. That's our website. And people can look for my LinkedIn profile, Dr. Praveen Srivastava, that I'm available on LinkedIn. I'll be more than happy to answer some questions of your viewers. So thank you so much, Charles, for this interview. It was a pleasure talking to you. And I wish you all the best in your podcasts.